Germany has agreed to take in 4 children born to former fighters from the so-called Islamic State. A German delegation has travelled there to receive the children. 3 of them are orphans and another just 6 months old and seriously ill. They've been living in the al-Hol camp in northeastern Syria, which holds over 70,000 women and children. It's the first time Germany has taken in IS children. Other European countries, including France and Belgium, have already done so. But there are still more than 100 children from German parents waiting to be repatriated. OK, I'm joined now by our political correspondent, Hans Brand, at our parliamentary studios. And with me in the studio, I have DW's expert on the so-called Islamic State, Florian Neuhoff. Florian, let me begin with you. You've travelled extensively in the area and worked in that region. What do we know about this repatriation that's supposed to be happening right now?
Well, as you said, it's 4 children that have been handed over to the German Foreign Ministry, officials, today at the border between Syria and Iraq. 2 of them are girls, 1 of them is a boy. They're all said to be pre-teens, and an orphan that's 6 months, one of the children is 6 months old only. The child is being repatriated for health reasons. This is said to be, well, officials, locals, sources on the ground have told me that this is supposed to be the first batch of around 100 German children or children of German descent. Also, some men and women are also said to will be repatriated in the coming months.
OK, so they're all very vulnerable. These 4 children are in a very vulnerable condition. Let me now turn to you, Hans. Now, what has the German government been saying about this repatriation? Because if it's confirmed, it's a pretty significant move.
Yes, it would be a significant move if it is confirmed, but in the government press conference today, the Foreign Ministry spokesperson would not confirm that this was happening. In fact, Germany has been very cagey about this whole process. All that the government and the Foreign Ministry are saying is that they are trying to prepare the ground for the possibility of repatriation. That includes making agreements with the authorities in Syria and northeastern Syria, with the authorities in the neighbouring countries, and obviously trying to confirm whether these children in fact are of German descent, are of German nationality. So far, the German authorities have not confirmed that this has actually happened.
Right, so no confirmation from the government. But Florian, turning to you now, the Syrian Kurds have captured lots of IS fighters. Women and children are living in camps in northeastern Syria. Why is it so important for them to return to their home countries?
That's right, Amrita. Human Rights Watch says that at least 11,000 women and children have been captured who used to be members or used to be in the so-called Islamic State. And they live in desperate conditions. They live in, they're exposed to malnutrition, and several of these children have already died. If they stay in Syria, they will be exposed to these conditions, and there's no way of bringing these people to justice. There's no mechanism to trial them. And we should also not forget that these these adults are still highly radicalized. They live in a separate section of the camp where it's unsafe to go for the security personnel. And if they're allowed to stay there, then they will keep on radicalizing their children, and these children will just grow to be the next generation of jihadis.
But turning to you now, Hans, we've seen that a couple of the governments, Western governments, have taken back former IS fighters. Now, we heard what Florian said, that some of these IS fighters are still very radicalized, and there's a fear that they may radicalize. But there are others who say they've given up their terrorist agenda. So why are governments so reluctant to actually take back these people?
Well, obviously, the biggest problem is the question to what extent these people still are radicals and to what extent one can control them once they're back in Germany. And not all of these people can be charged in a German court. It's not very clear what can be proven against them in a German court. Simple membership of the Islamic State organization obviously would also be something that they could be accused of. And in addition to that, if you get back dozens or maybe more than 100 of such people, the cost of controlling them, of supervising them, of surveillance will go into the dozens of millions. So I think those are the thoughts that are behind these maneuvers by the German government to try and prevent this from happening.
Right, Hans Brand, DW's political correspondent, and Florian Neuhoff, an expert on IS terrorism. Thank you both very much for sharing your perspectives.